Yo, what's up, Diamond family? It's your man Vivi, and welcome back to VVS Sound. As you guys know, I'm here every week dropping off gems, teaching you to record and mix your music better. So if that sounds good to you, hey man, stick around. Look, I got a really crazy video for you guys. I'm about to show you two different ways you can use an 1176 compressor on a rap vocal. All right, no further ado, let's jump right in, man. We're gonna be working on a song that I actually didn't record, but I am mixing it, and we recorded it into our free template that's down below. Look, man, if you don't have a template, this is the one for you. Go and pick up this template, man. It's gonna change the way that you sound, change the way that you record, and change the way that you mix immediately. It's really gonna get you those results that you need without a whole lot of work. All right, so go pick that up down below. Like I said, it's completely free. Let's jump into this vocal. So I'm gonna play the vocal without any compression first, and then I'm gonna just load in. I'm actually gonna use the 1176 within Slate, but they all have the same controls essentially, and they all have the same knobs. The reason I'm using the one from the Slate VMR is because it has a mix knob, and I like to be able to mix compression in and out, and that's actually gonna be at a bonus tip at the end. So we'll talk about that. Let's listen to the vocal. Here we go.
Daily I think of black passion, thought them females was just gas until I grew beside your casket. Lost my mind itching for action, traffic bad stuck to my ratchet. By myself I can't relax cause I know my life he should have it.
Cool, so the vocal sounds good. You can feel the pain, you can feel the emotion, you can really dig into what he's saying. I just want to make sure that we're not losing any of that energy, any of that nuance in his voice, and compression is going to help us do that. So I'm going to grab the 1176 from Slate. Here's another side tip. I choose the 76 based on the source, so I can tell that his voice is a little bit higher, so I'm going to use the regular blackface 1176 because it adds a little bit more low end, a little bit more body. If he had a lower voice or it was kind of getting lost in the mix, it was having a hard time cutting through, I would use the vintage just because it adds a little bit more grit, a little bit more saturation to the vocal, and I think it really helps to cut through a little bit more. I don't really use this modern one much. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't really dug into it. It doesn't really fit well for me on much that I've tried it on. But the other two, the blackface and the blue face, which is this one, the vintage, they really, I use them almost like an EQ. Like I said, depending on the tone of the vocal is which compressor I'll choose. So let's go ahead and try to dial in some compression settings. This is the first way to use an 1176. We're gonna keep the attack as slow as we can get it. We're going to make the release as fast as we can get it. And we're only going to mess with the input and the output knobs. Keep the ratio at 4:1. Don't even worry about it. We're just going to mess with the input and output until we're getting some gain and reduction. I want to say around 5 on average at the highest, maybe -10, but that's really going to be pushing it. So let's see what we can get.
Daily I think of black passion, thought them females was just gas until I grew beside your casket. Lost my mind itching for action, traffic.
And a quick tip, if you hold shift while you're using the Slate VMR and you adjust the input, it'll actually adjust the output as well, so you're not tricking yourself by just hearing a louder signal. You're actually hearing the compression. That being said, I think we're going to need some more gain. Let's play it back.
Daily I think of black passion, thought them females was just gas until I grew beside your casket. Lost my mind itching for action, traffic bad stuck to my ratchet. By myself I can't relax cause I know my life he should have it.
And the difference right there is really night and day. We went from a vocal that was kind of abstract and kind of distant and all over the place to a vocal that was focused and right in front of us and right in the, in the middle of the song. And that's where we want it to be. I'm gonna bypass it and play it back again and let you hear what I'm talking about.
Daily I think of black passion, thought them females was just gas until I grew beside your casket. Lost my mind itching for action.
Now let's hear it with compression.
Daily I think of black passion, thought them females was just gas until I grew beside your casket. Lost my mind itching for action, traffic bad stuck to my ratchet. By myself I can't.
And really, just that one plugin did so much to really solidify the vocal and make the vocal feel a lot bigger, a lot fuller, and a lot more appropriate for the song. All right, so that's tip number one. The second way that you can use an 1176 compressor, we're actually going to bypass this one. I'm actually going to go for the vintage just because I like to use the vintage when I'm using it in this way. We're going to actually get a much faster attack. I'm going to set it to about 3 o'clock. You can set it to wherever you want to. It doesn't really matter. I like here, and I'm probably going to tweak it a little bit, and then I'm going to boost this this ratio knob. I'm gonna kind of play with it. I might go 20:1, but more than likely I'm going to go 12. But we'll listen to it at 4 first. And really the thing here is we want to get a much faster attack out of the compressor, but we also want to only reduce the gain by like 1, 2, 3 dB, 5 kind of at the most. And again, that's really on the loudest peak. It's probably going to be right here in this kind of first bar if it hits 5. So let's see what we got.
Daily I think of black passion, thought them females was just gas until I grew inside of your. Daily I think of black passion, thought them females was just gas until I grew inside of your casket. Lost my mind itching for action, traffic bad stuck to my ratchet. By myself I can't relax cause I.
So basically what we're doing is, if you think about these peaks right here that are coming across, if we zoom in here, you can see that there's higher points in the waveform. Those are called peaks. If you try to visualize what this compressor is doing, it's really only taking these very peaks and it's turning them down by a little bit, 2 or 3 dB on the highest parts. So the cool thing about this compression is you can actually use both of these together, both of these techniques. So we've got our super fast compression, and now we're going to take our slower compression, and let's see how it smooths out the vocal.
Turn out so tragic. Daily I think of black passion, thought them females was just gas until I grew inside of your casket. Lost my mind itching for action, traffic bad stuck to my ratchet.
And man, listen to how up front that is. I'm gonna bypass these and listen to how the vocal just sinks back into the song.
By myself I can't relax cause I think of black passion, thought them females was just gas until I grew inside of your casket. Lost my mind itching for action.
And then let's bring that compressor back in.
Turn out so tragic. Daily I think of black passion, thought them females was just gas until I grew inside of your casket. Lost my mind itching for action, traffic bad stuck to my ratchet. By myself I can't relax cause I know my life.
And boom, that vocal is just sitting there. It's just right there cutting through the mix. You can still hear the beat nice and loud. You can still hear the claps and the melodies of the beat. That's how you get a nicely balanced vocal and beat. So I know I promised you guys a little bonus tip, and that's going to be right here on this mix knob. So sometimes what I'll actually do when I'm messing with this compressor, and you'll notice I never even changed the ratio. 4:1 did it. A lot of times what I'll do here though is I'll over compress it. And by that I mean I'll really smash the input and bring the output down a little bit, and then we'll play with the mix, so we only bring in some of that signal, and I'll show you what that sounds like here.
Shit, I'll be crashing while my life turn out so tragic. Daily I think of black passion, thought them females was just gas until I grew inside of your casket. Lost my mind itching for action, traffic bad stuck to my ratchet. By myself I can't relax cause I know my life he should have it.
And what that does is it keeps the vocal just a little bit more up front, a little bit more on top of the beat, because we're taking that super fast compression where we smacked everything down and held everything together really tightly, and we're just adding some of that back into the original signal. So we get the natural sound of the loosely compressed vocal, but we get the really present and cutting sound of the super compressed vocal that, like, when we put them together, it just gives you a vocal that's magic. Look, man, these are the tips that I'm teaching you guys week in and week out, and I really want you guys to make great music. So if you want to take this a step further, check out our vocal mixing masterclass. It's down below, and I teach you these tips and many more that are going to take your songs from rough to diamonds. Hey man, that's all I got for you today. Remember, stay humble, make diamonds only. Peace.
Shit, I'll be crashing while my life turn out so tragic. Daily I think of black passion, thought them females was just gas until I grew inside of your casket. Lost my mind itching for action, traffic bad stuck to my ratchet. By myself I can't relax cause I know my life he should have it.